Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how I made my new Cinnamoroll themed Decoden phone case. So starting off with everything you're going to need, first up are some resin charms. Now these are ones that I've made myself. I do have tutorials on making your own resin charms if you're keen, but otherwise you can really use any bits of plastic, off the internet, little figurines or whatever you might have around. Next is a phone case. It is recommended to use hard plastic ones over these soft silicone ones, as it's easier for your whip to peel off these soft ones. Next up is some mixing cups and something to mix with. I reuse this bread knife every time for my Decoden, and if you were to get some silicone cups, you'd be able to reuse those too. I use acrylic paint to colour my silicone, but you do have to be mindful to only use a small amount, otherwise you could seize your silicone or it may not set properly. I like using a star tip nozzle to get that real cake frosting effect. I would recommend one with more points though. I didn't quite like the way this frosting came out. And then of course a disposable piping bag. Next up is a corking gun. So this is my partner's, which used to go to the work site all the time, so it's real like grubby, but yeah, you'll need this to be able to get the silicone out of the tube. Lucky last, you will need your silicone. So I use bathroom silicone for all of my Decoden. This one here is white color. You can also buy a transparent one, which gives you a really cool jelly-like effect if you're into that. I'll link a video for you to have a look. Yay! And now it's time to start. Here you can see how I've folded my piping bag so it's easy for me to hold while I fill it up. I want to do an ombre kind of effect on my phone case, which means the color that I want at the top of my case needs to be the color I put in first. So here I am filling up my piping bag with just white silicone. You may notice some wee polymer clay charms in the background. They're just some things I made that I wanted little bits of frosting on too. I recommend that you use something to hold your case in place while you're piping on it. I use the silicone case, but you can easily use some glue tack or sellotape. So now I'm going to mix up the color that I want on the bottom half of my phone case. You can see me here piping the silicone into the plastic cup so I can mix the color. For this case, I'm going to make the bottom half a nice baby blue color. So here I'm going to start adding my acrylic paint. You can see what a tiny little amount of paint I'm starting off with. You can always add more paint. You can never take it out, right? So always err on the side of caution. Sorry, I do mix it mostly off camera. Whoops. You can see I am adding some more blue paint in there just to make it a bit brighter of a color. It is the delicate balance of not adding too much so you affect the, setting properties of the silicone, but adding enough to get the color that you do desire. I'm now scooping up all of that silicone as best as I can to pop it into my piping bag. Remember, I do already have some white frosting at the top of my piping bag, or I guess the bottom where the nozzle is. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my blue on top of that to get this lovely ombre effect. Again, sorry, so off camera. And we're away! Yay! So I'm just starting at the top of my phone case. Here you can see I had gone over the camera hole a smidge, so I just used a toothpick to scrape away that little bit of icing. Sorry about the forehead. And yeah, I'm just going to continue going ahead and piping the case. Depending where your camera is, it's going to change the way you pipe your phone cases. This is only the second case I've made with this shape phone case, so I'm still getting used to piping it, in a way that I like. I think I mentioned earlier as well, I'm not a huge fan of this nozzle. It doesn't have enough little star points on it to make a really nice pipe, in my opinion. But yeah, so I keep going and piping. You can see I've got a bit of the blue coming through. So if you don't have the color that you want coming through when you want it, you can see I did pipe a little bit extra in the corner just to make it come through a wee bit. And so now I'm just going to keep piping all the way to the bottom of my case. I'm running out of frosting, which is a bit dangerous. I always tend to not have enough. And then what you're going to want to do is for the last row of frosting, you need to go sideways. This will just tidy up the edges and you'll be left with no little tails. Well, apart from that one, but you can see I've done like a little swirl to kind of make it nice and neat. And now for one of the most fun yet also daunting parts is popping everything onto your phone case. So you can see I do have a picture of the design that I want to do. I highly recommend doing this. It's good to know where you're going and where you want things to be placed. Depending on your climate and the kind of bathroom silicone that you're using, this stage can really set very quickly. I've had other cases that set so fast I've not even been able to put all of the items where I want them in time, so it's always good to go in with a plan so you know where you're popping everything. I do sometimes deviate from the plan. It's good to have some extra pieces just in case. Sometimes you might get an air bubble, or you might pipe the frosting a little bit ugly, and you need to put on a charm to like cover it up and make it better, and then so it's good to have some spare bits for things like that. I was a cake decorator for 6 years, so whenever I used to train people, I would always say that, it's quite a valuable skill to have to be able to cover up your mistakes when it comes to decorating. So having some spare little decorations or resin charms, it's really just going to help you out just in case anything is to not go as planned. My inspiration for this case was Cinnamoroll, of course. He is my favorite Sanrio character, although a very close second is Kuromi. I think she's fabulous and kind of suits my personality pretty well. I'm a little bit feisty, maybe is a good word for it. Sometimes anyways. But yes, I wanted a Cinnamoroll themed cakes for the longest time, but just recently I was able to make a Cinnamoroll themed Lolita coordinate, which really inspired me to make this case already, because then I was able to go to some meetups, and have my matching case with my outfit, which is just perfect and cute. I love matching things. So yeah, I'm glad I finally was able to make this case. So, has anybody noticed? I did in fact deviate from my original plan just a little bit. I think the reason I did this is because I placed that love heart charm with Cinnamoroll too low down. It made the gap at the top a little bit too big, so yeah, I just had to change it a little bit so it balanced better. In saying that, it still could have balanced nicer than what I did, but when you're on a time constraint, it is what it is. So now I'm going ahead and adding lots of tiny little bits of glitter. So I have these little like star pieces of glitter, which are super cute. When you're adding little details like this, you do need to make sure that you poke them down into the silicone, a fair way, deep enough that they don't flake off. They will totally flake off quite easily, but they're pretty cute and I like adding them on, so yeah, it's a good idea to just make sure they're deeply set. And that's it. So now you are going to leave your case to set. It really varies depending on your climate and the kind of silicone that you've used for how long it may need. I just pop it underneath a Tupperware container so no dust or anything gets stuck to it, and I normally leave it for a couple of days just to like fully ensure it's okay. Bum-ba-da-bum, and here is my finished phone case. So it's fully set at this point. I think it was a couple of days, and yeah, totally done. I do really love the design of this. The pastel pink, blue and yellow is like my favorite color combo of all time, so I definitely love that. The piping, not my favorite. I prefer a nozzle with more points. I think it just looks better in my personal opinion. And bam, here is my old phone case. And so I made that one at the start of last year. So they do last quite a wee while, I guess. But yes, so I'm swapping it over to my lovely new one. Oh, she's so clean. It's the biggest thing I noticed. These cases do collect a good amount of dust, so beware of that. And that's it, my whole tutorial. I hope this may have been helpful for you or inspired you to make your own Decoden case. Gosh, if you make one, please send it to me on Instagram. I would love to see your designs. But yeah, that is everything from me. Thank you so much for watching my video, and hopefully I'll get to see you in my next one. Bye!